Welcome back to Beards and Brews. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you know when we have another one brewing. This week's movie is going to be Godzilla. No, the American one. Less good. Perfect. Fellas, what do you think?
Dude, this fucking movie, number one. Goddamn Matthew Broderick. Fucking Ferris Bueller. Fuck.
Yep. Man, he's so bad in this movie. I know you have like a primal hatred for this man, but this movie does not do him any favors. Goodness, he's just like a walking board.
No, it doesn't. Like, I don't mind Matthew Broderick generally. I enjoyed Ferris Bueller's Day Off immensely. Love it. But he was super miscast in this role.
I think he knows it too because he's basically has a phone glued to his head because that's all he's doing is phoning it in. It's embarrassing.
He has like 5 lines in this whole film and he's the main star. If he has more than that, I apologize because you don't give a fuck about anything he's saying or what he's doing.
To be honest, I was actually just kind of surprised this entire city of New York is just run by Siskel and Ebert. Let's just put that out there.
Well, they definitely don't get 2 thumbs up for this mission.
Agreed. It stinks.
But I just want to let everybody know, this is the first time that I'd ever seen this movie. This was absolutely my introduction to Godzilla as an intellectual property. I've never seen any of them, never seen any of the shows, the movies, nothing. No. This is it, all right?
Well, we've ruined you. You've peaked too early.
Well, this is Chandler's pick, so he ruined himself.
No, this was the wild card, though, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, but it was out of your pocket.
Yeah, it was. But guys, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something controversial here.
Uh-oh.
I really didn't think it was that bad.
Okay.
Good? No, it wasn't good. But among the awful movies that we have watched and talked about recently, this might be the best.
All right.
Well, you're going to be a little surprised yourself. I kind of agree. It's actually not that bad. It's not good by any means. I'm not going to give this like a stamp or seal of approval or anything, but it's not a dumpster fire. It's just a dumpster.
That's where I'm at. I really didn't think it was that terrible. There are lots of places for improvement. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the worst thing that I've seen this week.
All right. Well, here we go. This movie is deceptively interesting and it's extremely well made until the titular character shows up and you start going, ew.
Honestly, the first introduction to Godzilla that I saw, I was like, well, that doesn't look as bad as I was expecting. It gets way worse. Like
the budget runs out.
Yeah, the CGI gets way worse. Like but the introduction is like, that's not bad.
It's one of those weird cases where like the journey from point A to point B plot wise is way more interesting than when the movie actually stops to sit down and talk to the people that star in it.
Yes.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Whenever it opens and we get like that fucking pretty cool soundtrack, that and it makes you feel like there's something intense going on, and there's like clips of bombs and aquatic sea life and marine iguanas, things like that. And then we get our first touch of Godzilla, blip on a sonar, and these fishermen are there, and these giant fucking practical effects claws slam through the side of the boat and scratch down, and the sailors are screaming and they're drugged down to the abyss or whatever. You go, holy shit, that looked pretty good.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was.
Yes, you get kind of amped for the beginning, and then it just continues to roll downhill.
It's like the movie's trying really hard to drag Godzilla from his stomping grounds or whatever, because, it's a Japanese creature. It's like, well, how's it get all the way to New York? So it travels across the Pacific Ocean, all the way down through Latin America and up the Atlantic coast and back into New York again.
Yeah, one of the big qualms that I have with this is actually the geography and like,
of course,
how the fuck fast can this guy travel?
Pretty quickly. Like, even through solid Earth, it can just like slither through it.
He can fit into places that could not normally accommodate anyone or anything. He's like those butt plugs you see at sex shops where you go, nobody can use that.
What?
And then someone can.
Not really where I thought we were going, but all right. I'll give it to you.
But he's got a point, so.
I mean, think about the size of a subway station in New York.
Sure.
They're fairly large, sure. The subway tunnel has to accommodate a subway train.
Mm-hmm.
But Godzilla is using those and the sewage system like it's Hollow Earth, and he's just fucking creeping around. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Of course, because like New York, what's under is pretty cavernous already with all these tunnels and junk, and it's just kind of sailing through solid earth, and the city's just like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah. All right, so let's not skip past our introduction to the main character. I don't even remember his name. It's Ferris Bueller. He's just Ferris Bueller. Yeah. And he's like some kind of a biologist working in Chernobyl.
I didn't think like that kind of science was allowed that close to Chernobyl so frequently without any kind of like protective gear, and he just rolls up in his like fucking paperboy hat and he's like, I'm singing and I'm kind of a nerd. Humdy humdy hum.
You can take tours of Chernobyl where they get you really close, but they have to keep a radiation detector. But there are certain zones that they can take you, and then other ones where they're like, oh, we can't be here. I actually watched a whole online tour of it. I was like, that's fucking crazy. Ooh. I still wouldn't go.
Maybe it's like one of those really solid special effects that I'm not aware of. Like they just digitally put Chernobyl in the background. He's not really there. It's like, man, he's definitely within the exclusion zone.
I don't think any of these people are anywhere near where they're supposed to be, frankly. No. Because in 5 minutes, okay, he does his thing. He's shooting electricity into the ground to collect earthworms. I don't know. And then the State Department comes down and is like, oh, you're being reassigned. And then the next thing you know, he's in Japan, French Polynesia. I don't know where he is next, but it's like the next minute.
No, he's in Central America. Because remember, Godzilla has to go all the way down and around to get to New York City. I think it's Panama.
Yeah, he's in Panama.
And the movie, okay, it's not great, but like the pacing at the first third of this movie is real awful. It's just like thing. We really got to get to New York. Thing. So they like rush him into Panama, and he's like, man, where's the evidence that I'm supposed to be for? And the guy's just like, well, you're standing in it. And he's like, you're right, I am.
No, he's like, I don't see it. Where is it? Hey, I don't see it. Oh.
He's standing directly in this gigantic footprint because Godzilla's been tearing through South America.
Yeah, like actually, before I learned like the geography where they were showing it on the videotape later, I made a joke. I was like, man, what's he going to do? Is he going through the Panama fucking Canal? Because he has to go from, we find out, French Polynesia to New York City over the span of what turns out to be, 2 days?
Yeah, something extremely quick. In fact, this movie kind of takes place over the course of like 3 or 4 days altogether.
Like, you couldn't, I mean, I'm not saying you couldn't, but it'd be expensive to get even a flight. Let's go from Tahiti to, you'd probably have to fly to LAX, have a layover, and then you'd get to New York. Still, that's like probably 30 hours of your day.
They got those zippy military jets. They're just like, yeet, and they're there.
Yeah, but Godzilla doesn't.
Or does he?
He uses the expressway. He goes from the Bermuda to Bahamas, and he goes down to the Pretty Mamas. I think it's Carligo or Carlito, Montego. Come on, baby, why don't we go?
Down to Kokomo.
We'll get there fast, and then Godzilla will take it slow.
Well, Godzilla wasn't really taking a whole lot slow, I feel like. He just kind of speeds through a whole lot of everything.
Yeah, he realized this movie's just a little over 2 hours. He's got to get shit done.
Yeah, the next thing that we do, we go to New York, actually, and we meet a couple of new characters. We get this office girl, cute blonde, I don't know, ends up being an ex of Ferris Bueller. We also have Ned Flanders and Hank Azaria.
Basically, a third of the Simpsons cast is like wedged into this movie somehow for no reason.
You're right, yeah. But by the way, I love Hank Azaria. He doesn't do anything special in this movie, but I just want to let it be known, I love Hank Azaria.
Well, in this movie, it doesn't really give him like any space to shine. They're like, hey, do New York accent. He's like, hey, okay, my hat's on backwards and everything. Look, I look like Adam Sandler.
Yeah, he and his wife and the
reporter guy?
Yeah, he's the guy with the camera. Yeah, he and his wife and the blonde girl that I mentioned earlier, they all try and put on like varying degrees of New York accent.
Yeah, they do.
And I guess they're okay. I don't know.
It's a little embarrassing because like through the movie, like as life-threatening things are happening, they're just like, hey, New York-isms because fuck.
Yeah, you got like Godzilla just like trampling through Manhattan. Meanwhile, you got like a guy just like down the block looking at it happen and be like, hey, I got hot dogs here.
Hey, yo, Stromboli.
Mustard and relish. Relish is 25 cents extra.
Well, Godzilla finally has a chance to show himself and or herself. And we kind of have this like cute little thing where like this old fella's like on this dock, and it's storming. It's raining like crazy, and he's going out there with his fishing pole, and his buddies are roasting him behind him, like, "Oh, you're not gonna catch anything today, you bastard!" And he throws his little thing in, and it gets taken down. It's like, "Oh, I got something real big," and it takes his whole line, and it's just fucking Godzilla. I don't know, fucking tears up the entire fucking dock just to get to him.
Okay.
Like, he may still be alive.
Can we discuss this scene in particular? Number one, this could have been a really fucking cool scene. They reuse it in every Godzilla movie, you know, him surfacing and looking badass. But the guy casts his line out. Godzilla is coming in. So why was his bait ripped out to sea?
Maybe Godzilla was just like real far under at the top. No, I don't know. I got nothing.
And did Godzilla burrow directly into the side of New York?
I mean, these are questions, and I agree. Next.
Oh, fucking next on Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, like, the movie's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. You start talking about stuff, this whole shit's gonna fall apart.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ferris Bueller's down there doing science stuff, getting hit on by random redhead scientist.
Oh, that shit had me laughing because, like, there's a bit where they're all in a Jeep, and you got, like, not Paul Giamatti sitting beside Ferris Bueller in the back, and she just turned around like, "Hey, I want to fuck you." And he's just like, "Okay, thanks, lady."
Yeah,
I'm just Count Kathy Lee Gifford.
he's like, is it Kathy Lee Gifford?
Which
I'm thinking of Kathy
the
Griffin.
redhead?
Yeah,
thinking of
yeah,
Kathy
the
Griffin.
D-list lady. Yeah.
Kathy Griffin?
Well, she wanted his D-list.
Oh. He's just sitting in the back of this Jeep riding along, I don't know, in Panama or something, and this scientist lady is like, "Hey, you got a lady? You got a wife, a girl? Anybody you stick your dick in?" Well, that don't matter to me because I still think you're kind of cute. And Broderick's just like, "Oh, she said I was cute."
I like how the way you described it sounded like she handed him a map. It's like, "Here you go. Just point out where your dick garage is."
Is it her? I don't know. I don't know how dick garages work.
It's just like a really awkward thing where you just like, and just points at her.
All right, so what's next in this fucking movie? What?
So,
Well, I mean, you know, old Godzilla's stomping around New York City, like Tokyo Town, and like shit's hitting the fan. Like New Yorkers are like comically clueless to everything because, you know, New Yorkers are like, they don't care about anything. This giant lizard's tearing shit up. So like it's just like going down fucking Wall Street. People are like, "Hey, what the fuck is this? This a giant lizard?"
okay. I know I'm not supposed to ask questions, but I got one.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Godzilla's tearing up New York, and this happens in the film. They're like, "Oh my god!" You get to see what is equivalent to like Yoshi from Mario, but really big running around.
Something like that. He's definitely more toned than your regular Godzilla. It's weird to see him have shoulders.
Yeah, he's kind of ripped.
Yeah, he is.
So,
No homo, guys. No homo.
A little bit. I'm gonna move his cloacal scale and get in there. So, he's tearing up the city. He's walking down the street, as Eric put it. These city streets are bustling with people. People are staring out the windows, watching him go by. And the U.S. Army is there, like, "We're gonna get him." And the guy's like, "Where's he at?" And they're like, "We don't know." The fuck?
He is literally like grabbing onto a building, like holding it in one scene, like a tall, like skyscraper building. And then it's just like, oh, he disappeared, I guess.
Well, I mean, they did leave that entire like section of the military up to like fucking Sergeant Stutter Steve and everything, and he just seemed completely bewildered the entire movie. He's just like, "Oh, guys, this is a big toughie. That's a lot of fish over there, huh?" All right, you know, like he didn't add anything to anything.
Well, you got like when they move all the military over to New Jersey, their mobile command center over there. They evacuate Manhattan, so they get 3 million people out of Manhattan just like that because you know that's easy.
Well, I want that little bit of nugget to stay there. They evacuated New York City. I just want to put that out there. That's going to come back later. There shouldn't be anybody in New York City. Okay,
Yes.
proceed.
All right, so they're evacuating Manhattan, and that's the point where they're like, well, where did he go? He's not anywhere that we can see. Where could he? He's probably back in the water. I don't know. Maybe he's at a Knicks game. Fuck if I know.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Oh, yeah. I actually wrote that before I knew that he was going to Madison Square Garden. So I'm pretty proud of
Spoilers.
myself on that.
Yeah. So yeah, later on, you know, Godzilla always wanted to square Martin. You know, it works out.
Did we mention Jean Reno's there? Because he's there.
We have not mentioned Leon the Professional whatsoever.
I didn't want to.
Let's leave it that way, because he does nothing.
Yeah, like I didn't really even want to bring it up because he's such a great actor. Like if you ever watch some of his like action movies, they're fantastic. But in this movie, he is just French man. He's French. Like the Frenchy thing, like just like the stereotypical how the Americans see the French. And it's fucking embarrassing.
You're not that wrong. Like mostly what he does through the whole film is complain about American coffee.
Yes, it's not even like a funny ongoing gag. He just takes a sip. He's like, "Oh," you know, just like just whatever.
The
It's
Americans
like
do not know how to make a proper cup of French roast.
Yeah, like I was watching this with the missus, who's also part French, and there's like a bit where like his buddies come in with like a thing of donuts, like, "Oh, no croissant," and he's like, "Oh, fucking America," and she was like, "Oh my god, this isn't real."
I do have him and his little pals written down as Team France through the whole thing.
God.
And he is, I guess, a member of the French Foreign Legion. Is that legitimately what he is? I wasn't paying attention.
I'm just okay with calling him Leon and the Paris Accord.
I got him Leon and Team France, so we're on the same page for the most part.
It's just the Jeans.
Jean?
Jean and the Renault.
No.
Jean
Okay,
Reno?
so
Jean-Luc Picard?
Jean Reno's
All right.
actual character in this, what was his name?
Wasn't it Philippe?
Philippe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is funny. You have Jean Reno as Philippe, and then you have all these other French dudes, or maybe French dudes, or French impersonators playing Jean-Luc, Jean-Claude, and Jean-Pierre.
Really?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of creativity in this little
So
group
they
of
are
folks,
the Jeans.
Just need a little Jean-Claude Van Damme, a little Jean-Pierre Lafitte.
If they put in JCVD instead of Jean Reno, I feel like this movie would be elevated a little bit. You know, I would just love to see. Yeah, high kick and some like little raptors later on and shit. Just fuck it. Just give me what I want. I don't care.
All right.
They're looking for a giant dragon dinosaur thing,
Yeah.
and they don't know where it went because this is the one city where something that big can go unnoticed. No.
Yeah, even like we have a little scene where Ferris Bueller is sitting down with like all the army officials and like the mayor and everything, and he's like, "I have reason to believe that Godzilla is still in the city," and they just like take him for his word on that. What reason do you have?
Chandler.
Well, I mean, like,
do not make that Matthew Broderick voice again because you're fucking almost spot on, bud.
That's terrifying.
the logic in this movie is just so surface level flawed. Like, I just don't understand. Like, clearly, yes, it's still there because you didn't see it leave. There's nowhere it could go. And let's be honest, where it's hiding is horseshit.
Wait, couldn't it have just gone like back into the ocean? Why couldn't it have?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't go to New Jersey.
I mean, I don't blame him. Have you been to New Jersey? It's terrible.
But somebody would have saw something, okay?
Even Harry Shearer, fucking bassist in Spinal Tap, was like on the phone with somebody and was completely oblivious to Godzilla just like waltzing right past his front door. So, fuck it.
Yeah, like, I just feel like if these New Yorkers did see Godzilla get back into the water, they're not saying anything. They're just like going about their lives.
Fucking family neighborhood around here.
Snitches get stitches, exactly. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, all right, he's gone. I'm gonna go back my business now. Hey, give me that fish over there. I gotta cut that one up.
Or just smile and wave.
Smile and wave, boys. Kowalski. Anyways, good thing they got Dr. fucking Nature Dick over there because he's like,
Oh.
he's just a big old kitty cat.
Yes. Oh god, he's like a real boring Bubbles.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think this thing is our enemy. He's just a big
Stop it.
animal. What?
Stop that goddamn voice.
I'm not
I
meaning
don't think
to.
he's really doing anything. He's just like, he has like the right cadence. I think that's it.
Maybe it is the cadence. Oh, it's like making my skin crawl.
Oh no.
Yeah,
But-
so Ferris Bueller's just like, I don't think he's our enemy. He's just a big old animal, and we should just give him what he wants.
And I know he's like a, professional biologist and all that stuff, but like his first idea was just like, hey, let's just feed him.
Yeah, he's probably just hangry.
Oh shit! It's just they just put a giant Snickers down there. You're not yourself. You're hungry.
He just turns back into an iguana after that.
Yep.
Thanks. But no, they just end up gathering up, I don't know, a fucking ton of fish and just dropping it down in this location. Like, hey, we're gonna make a little Godzilla trap.
Like anything else in this movie, any kind of human interaction, rather, it's awkward. They're like dumping all this fish there, and you got like Sergeant Stutters, like, we did everything you told us to do, buddy. Is everything okay? And then like the most deadpan turn and stare, Matthew Broderick is just like, that's a lot of fish.
I think that was supposed to be this film's, I think we're gonna need a bigger boat, or something along those lines.
No. Like that, they had like some random army dude later on. It's like, we're gonna need bigger guns. And like fucking, I was just like, no, stop all that shit. Roy Schneider is rolling in his grave.
Dead from the fear.
Oh no. But the trap is set, and their idea is to just like pop open a bunch of manholes and junk and have subterranean Godzilla smell all this stuff and jump out, and at the right moment just shoot the shit out of it, because that's what you do.
What the fuck? This entire stretch of 5 minutes is insanely stupid.
From top to bottom, like it doesn't even stop, which is weird. Like it doesn't let up, and they repeat this exact same scene like 2 more times in the movie.
Oh, dude. So I haven't seen this movie in forever. When they're shooting at Godzilla, they, honest to God, use the same exact scene again later in the movie.
And did you guys find it like a little just, I don't want to say upsetting, maybe embarrassing, that
Absurd?
these well-trained, I'll say absurd, sure. Like these well-trained military personnel are all stormtroopers. They can't hit a fucking thing. There is no goddamn way that lizard is that apt to just be so nimble, where he just like fucking dodging around like the Matrix and not a fucking thing is hitting him.
Well, no, I don't think that's fair. They're hitting a lot of things. It's all friendly fire.
Not to mention,
it's just all collateral damage.
Yeah, exactly. They destroy the fucking Chrysler building. A little bit later, they take out one of their own submarines. Like, all they're doing is just destroying everything.
It's like it's destruction porn after a while, especially when they take out the Chrysler building. They're very adamant to like show in detail that stainless steel structure fall to the ground and collapse in a certain way. You're like, wow, that was a miniature. That's impressive. Wow.
I'm over here holding up a finger so I don't forget my thought, because boy, oh boy, this scene blew my fucking mind. Number one, instant trap. Like, as soon as they put the fish down, Godzilla's there. Like, and he came out of the fucking sewer like a Ninja Turtle. He's bigger than the fucking Chrysler building. Okay, on top of that, they're shooting at him, and just because he knows parkour somehow, they can't get him. And these CGI helicopters are some of the worst I've ever seen in my fucking life. It looks like toy little, the top-down helicopter shooter used to play at the arcade. It's like that on a muddy background.
It's 100% pod racing.
Oh man,
Nice.
I was thinking it kind of looked like those rooftop scenes from Batman Forever, when like the car was just like zipping around the side of the bulding.
No, I much preferred that, honestly.
I did too. At least then you could be like, hee hee. Here you go, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But this motherfucker literally tears into a building to hide.
Well, I think I need to tear into something to hide right now. What I've got here today is a huge bitch.
That's a huge bitch.
That's a huge bitch. Thank you for getting that, by the way. That's a reference. What I've got here today is a 15.4 ounce bottle of Westmalle Trappist Tripel from, I don't know, somewhere in Belgium. This is a 9.5% alcohol by volume Trappist ale, a triple. Not a whole lot of like hoppiness. There's tartness in there, a little bit of fruity. Like, this is just all over the place. If you don't know about what the Trappist ales are, there's like 8 or 9 or maybe 10 or 11 now monasteries in and around Belgium that basically just brew beer and have been doing this for hundreds of years, just essentially to maintain the abbeys. And this is from one of those famous and historic breweries right here. All right, so right out of the gate, I'm getting a lot of yeasty ester aromas. I don't really know what they are, but there's cherry or like almond, something along those lines. But there's also banana, clove, things like that. Things that you would normally find in like a wheat beer. I don't think they use any wheat malt in this, but you get a lot of those same notes. But this also has sort of like a floral, almost vegetal, using that word again, vegetal feeling to it too. It's really complex. It's sort of right in between being mellow and being aggressive. There's a little bit of heat to it. Yeah, it's great. Like, I've had it before, and this is one of my highest rated beers, period.
Well, that sounds like it's got a lot more going on than this fucking movie.
That's what I was going to say. Speaking of complex, this movie is not. And we kind of rattle around a little bit. For whatever reason, like the lady that was Matthew Broderick's ex, like, wow, I know that guy. I should go simp on him a little bit and see if I can get his videotape.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
She's like, hey, I'm still the fucking secretary here at this office. I want to be a newscaster or like a reporter. I'm going to go use this ex-boyfriend of mine that I haven't talked to in 8 years to see if I can ruin his career or something.
But the thing is, she kind of called it. Because, like, when she shows up to, like, his little bio pad or whatever, like, she spots all these pictures of them still together from nearly a decade ago. How is that not, like, a fucking, red signal or whatever?
Because she's into it.
Red flag.
Red flag, man. Yeah.
Stoplight. Oh, man. But, yeah, she goes in there, and he's like, I never got over you. I still love you. And she's like, oh, my God, you're kind of famous right now, so I'm kind of into it. So I kind of feel bad for ripping you off. Oh, my God, I stole a videotape.
And I did feel kind of bad because, like, it's actually kind of funny how it's set up. So he's, like, around this table, like, all these officials around him. You got the governor, Mayor Ebert, and Siskel there just hanging out, all these official folks. And they're just like, okay, these are the official plans. Everything's top secret. Nothing leaves this room. And then on the TV, it's like, da-da-da-da-da-da. This just in. Nick the Tipitopitipitipilospilus is in charge of this whole thing. He found a giant lizard. And they're all just like, turn and look.
And he thinks there are eggs. He thinks there are eggs somewhere.
Or as the French would say, oof.
Oof.
Omelette du fromage. That's what they say.
But yeah, everybody turns around and is like, you went to the press about this? Bruh.
He's like, no, only thing I did was have like a really long Beatles sing-along in the middle of Chicago. Fellas, it wasn't me.
Lord.
I was at the Cubs game, obviously. Couldn't have been me.
Or maybe at the Metropolitan Art Museum. It's whatever.
He was at
I got a Ferrari, dude.
Getting his cable hooked up.
Oh,
okay.
I forgot about that movie.
So did that movie.
No kidding.
But in the meantime, Matthew Broderick was like, I got fired. And she's like, oh my God, I'm kind of sorry because I got ripped off too. So we both got ripped off.
This little scene where they meet back up in that pharmacy makes no sense. The entire island is evacuated. And you have this little mom and pop shop pharmacy just like, yeah, hey, how's it going, Matthew Broderick? We're fucking live and kicking over here. It's okay.
Well, I don't know that they're in Manhattan right then. I think they're probably in like Brooklyn or something like that. They had to cross the river. Or maybe New Jersey. I don't know.
In my head canon, that lady was there to steal stuff. Saw Matthew Broderick walk in, quickly put on like a little smock. Like, hey, how's it going? This is my place. Don't shoot me.
I'm definitely not looting.
That's when he finds out that Godzilla's pregnant, and then that's when she steals the tape.
Now that he's been fired and they're in this together, like, besties, what else do you do besides team up with the French Secret Service, who just happened to be like, don't worry, I was here the whole time. No women, no kids.
Like, is it really teaming up if he is just kidnapped? Because that's essentially what happens. He gets in a taxi to the airport, and the driver just happens to be Leon the Professional. He's like, I'll take you back here to where my crew are because you're the only one who wants to find the nest as much as I do. Much like a 12-year-old Natalie Portman.
And while he's in the back of the taxi, fucking Matthew Broderick is just like, mister, you better let me out. You're going to be in big trouble. Why is there a plant in the passenger seat?
In the
I
passenger
got the reference. It's his plant that he takes care of and he takes with him.
Oh, it's been a while. Let's press
So there they are, the fucking Leon and his boys, and the reporters are like, we should follow them because, why not? And as they go down, he looks to Matthew Broderick and he's like, always dressed down, never brighter than the floor. And they start pushing deeper into, what was it, the subway or Madison Square Garden where they were going?
They entered one of Godzilla's subterranean tunnels, which eventually led into Square Martin.
Square Martin?
It's a Rush Hour 2 thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the whole time that Ferris Bueller, along with Team France, are doing this, you've got Hank Azaria and the blonde girl just like following behind, like trying to figure out exactly what they're doing. And I guess the idea is that, hey, if we can make it up to him by saying, hey, this guy was right all along, it'll fix everything.
I guess so. And they're just like, yeah, let's go kill ourselves. Because they don't know what's coming up next.
No.
They go through all these tunnels, and we get treated, holy fuck, to one of the worst things I've ever seen in a movie. They kind of cut away for just a minute and show you that the U.S. Army or whatever is searching Godzilla as well, and that he's not at the end of this dead-end tunnel. And so they turn around, and it turns out the whole tunnel was Godzilla's eyeball, and then he stands up away from the tunnel. It's like, where the fuck is he that a whole building has enough room to just stand up?
And why is the military full of just like blind, deaf, and dumb people? Because this is the loudest fucking thing in the movie. He just like gets up, just better go find some more food.
That guy just didn't want to see it. He was like, hey, sure. You see a giant dragon? Sure don't.
Nope, copy that.
Nope. Maybe we misread that scene, and it's one of the better scenes.
He's like, soldier, you see anything? Nope. Ship shape. Alrighty.
He sees it, and he's just like, nope.
Yep, about face later. I think all at the same time, they try that trap thing again, but this time in the middle of Central Park. Godzilla's like, man, I've seen this one before. Fuck y'all. And then he just like yeets right into the fucking Hudson River. And of course they already have like military personnel down there too, and like nuclear submarines. Like they're playing fucking G.I. Joe or some shit.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like they've got two subs like facing each other down there, waiting for Godzilla to come around. And then it's like, oh, he's there. Let's shoot him. Fire the missiles.
But I'm like tired.
So take a nap. And then fire the missiles! And then they do, and they just, like, shoot themselves. I don't know. Oh. Godzilla does some, like, Giannis Antetokounmpo moves, does a little Euro step, and is out of there.
Embarrassing. It's so bad. Because, like, they shoot the torpedoes at him. It's heat-seeking, so it's, like, following him around and stuff. He's like, no, you. And he, like, shoots them at the other submarine, and they blow up. And they're like, oh, my God, we lost the Independence. And they're like, Mother of God.
You're going to have to call in the other guy. Which one? The Russian submarine commander.
There it is. But they end up chasing him back to the mainland. And just before he gets there, they actually get him. You know, we got a direct hit, target destroyed, all of these words. There's no way Godzilla is actually dead if we still have, like, almost an hour of movie left.
Oh, absolutely. And the movie tries to play with your heartstrings a little bit. You know, it gets nailed by the torpedo up against the bedrock wall. It's like,
dude,
floats away.
Fuck, this was so bad. He's just like spiraling in the fucking water, and there's like smoke cloud or dirt cloud, and all you can think is this looks like a death scene from something from the Super Nintendo whenever you got a fucking Donkey Kong.
Like, it's real rough, and it's very, I don't want to say disorienting, but it almost looks like it tried to imply like he went to heaven, because like he's like kind of floating up towards the camera through some clouds. I'm just like, is this kind of like symbolism? Like, what are they trying to do here? And I don't know.
In T-pose.
I don't know about all that, but we go back to like the guys wandering around, just like underground. I guess they're kind of looking for the nest, and they find it. They're like, oh, hey, it's cut up above. Let's get up there. Oh my God, there's eggs. Where are we? We're in Madison Square Garden.
And then, of course, the New York reporter guy's like, oh, they got the Garden? Now I'm real mad.
Yeah, can't take the Knicks away from me. The Rangers, where are the Rangers gonna play? My God, they're gonna send us out to Long Island, play at Nassau.
And the director's like, yes, we've made a joke.
What made me laugh is that he's kept it going.
Yeah. Oh. And this another absurd scene. Like they walk into Madison Square Garden, a big cavernous place. Come on, it's a sports arena. And they walk in, they see one egg, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. Just an egg here. We can fucking scramble this bitch and be on with our day. And then they turn like 90 degrees to the right. They're like, oh.
Who the fuck's eyeballs work like this?
Security from Metal Gear Solid.
It's like, there must be 20 eggs here. Oh, never mind, just a box.
Yes.
And they just leave.
It's them looking for Godzilla. He just stands still like a building.
And their genius plan, of course, because they had this prepared, is just to strap the joint with C4, blow the shit out of it, skate out of town, problem solved. Unless they hatch. Oh, wait. They hatch.
Yeah, you won't see any action unless war were declared. What was that?
War were declared.
I got tickled whenever this fucking dinosaur starts hatching. It's literally frame for frame the hatching of the Velociraptor, but with a giant hand puppet.
Dude, I mean, props for trying, but man, this is definitely just like, it just falls into like a big Jurassic Park ripoff.
Yeah, absolutely. From this point on, it is straight up. This is Jurassic Park. I don't know. What are we up to? 6 now? No. Which one has the worst CGI? Because it's probably this
one. None of them really, man. They still hold up.
Yeah.
Well, I just noticed that as this movie goes along, the CGI gets way worse. Like these little hatchling Godzillas, the baby Godzillas, they look pretty bad.
They're like fucking 2005 Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, like it's definitely not nearly as bad as Spawn, like what we watched a couple weeks ago. And I'll tell you, my main gripe isn't even with like the CGI itself. Like the figures look fine, but when they're moving, their movement looks so clunky and very PlayStation 2.
They try to hide it their best, but it doesn't even work. Like, all the lights are cut. It's very dark. So like, we'll see as, the bare minimum of them just to get the maximum effect. But then they have like 16 of these motherfuckers stacked on top of each other running down a hallway at Matthew Broderick. It's just like, what is this?
And they all move uniformly. And whenever they're coming down that hall, it looks fucking atrocious. It doesn't look like they're coming down the hall. It looks like they're coming down the screen.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that because it was like copy paste animation. Like they're walking in unison and everything.
Yeah, and even like not even, I'll say especially when they go to like when they actually break through into the lobby and you just see that there's like, I don't know, 60 of them in here.
Oh yeah.
And they all just kind of look mostly the same, just in different angles and whatnot, and their movements are all kind of it's
Look, you get the same effect when you play Minecraft creative mode and you just take the egg and start spawning shit all over the place.
Completely.
There is one little, like, I don't know, attempt at comedy or something. Ferris Bueller is in here, like, trying to get away from these two little raptors. And he's trying to get in the elevator. He eventually gets in. He has to, like, nudge one of their snouts out of the elevator. And he's like, he goes up to the, a couple floors and he's like, got away from them. And then the doors open it up, and it's just like, I don't know, 6 of them just eating popcorn in the popcorn room.
That's what I said to the missus when we were watching. It's like, what? They're not even dangerous. They're just having a goof. That's all this is.
It's just Gremlins 2 at this point.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's just straight out of Gremlins 2.
And he's just like, awkwardly, of course, wrong floor.
Okay. Now, I want to discuss a reoccurring gag that happens here. To escape the raptors initially, Matthew Broderick tips over a thing of gumballs and some other fucking round object machine. And they all, of course, are like, woo!
Yeah, there's slapstick comedy in this movie. And why? I don't need to see 6 or 7 foot tall dinosaurs go whoop, 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 as they're trying to escape for their lives.
You know what? I'll give it a pass. I think that was a little, an entertaining little bit. I'll take it. Compared to everything that's surrounding it at this point, which is pretty fucking monotonous, I'll take the little bits of comedy that we have going on.
Okay, the reason I bring it up, though, is because once they do the harrowing escape from radioing out and being like, you gotta nuke us, broken arrow, and they make their escape from there, guess what? Those raptors that Matthew Broderick tripped 3 floors up and way the fuck somewhere else come spilling around the corner still with the gumballs. It's the same gumball animation used coming onto screen. Why are they doing this?
It's a rough day for everybody. That's all I can say.
A rough day for everybody.
They are somehow able to run out of the building just in time for some fucking cruise missiles or something that are designed to explode only as big as Madison Square Garden. No bigger, no less.
Hey, I haven't seen a bomb like that hit MSG since the '94 Knicks. Am I right? Ah!
They're calling in like the F-16s and stuff. They're like, arm the MSGs. And they're like, no,
not the monosodium glutamate.
This is gonna be delicious.
I'll let you know, I still don't really know how they got out of that building alive. There's literally like 60 of them in the little lobby to Madison Square Garden, and they just slip through the doors and use like, I don't know, a broom to lock the doors behind them.
It's just briefly, Jean Reno performs some professional miracle. He shoots down some fixtures from the ceiling, and they crash to the ground. All the dinosaurs are like, oh, what was that noise? And they kind of back off a little bit, and he makes like a nice little straight line, just a beeline for the door. They get out. He uses his MP5 to brace the doors. They get like, I don't know, 100 feet from Madison Square Garden, and then the entire place gets incinerated. And they're just like, huh? We're okay.
Yeah, they just like fall on the ground, and it's like, I'm glad we made it,
I almost
guys,
felt
it's
like,
right there. It's still happening.
I almost felt like if they were to stand up and just like wipe all the grime and wetness from their face with a Wendy's napkin, it would have been perfect.
That's from my pasta.
Oh, fuck. Last Action Hero is so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that was my biggest qualm, was they walk out the fucking door, the explosion goes off as they walk out the door. These are fucking missiles, and they're completely fine, and then they somehow turn around, and this makes, again, 0 sense. Godzilla, who was killed in the bay, has now risen from the ashes of Madison Square Garden.
It hasn't even been 3 days. This is our new Lord and Savior. He just passed up Jesus' record.
Oh, nice. Beat him in Guinness. Of course, their first idea of escape is just to run down this straight street where this giant lizard can take like a whole city block in one step. And they like scurry through an alleyway, barely escape over a fence, Taken style. So you got 13 cuts before they get there. And they're like, hey, let's get in this cabian. Get the fuck out of here. And they're like, oh, okay, that doesn't sound like a bad idea at all.
Can we talk about their being chased by Godzilla? Actual Godzilla, not one of the babies. They're getting chased by actual Godzilla now, but they expect that hopping over a chain link fence will separate them from him.
Well, it worked, so...
It does.
He's like, oh man, chain link.
Yeah. I just tore through Madison Square Garden. Oh, fucking fence.
Godzilla Ventura, is that you?
Why did you become Jesse Ventura?
I'm the Godzilla of Minnesota. I fought in Vietnam, and I'm a sexual tyrannosaurus.
Oh fuck, that's what
it all
is.
fits together.
That's why he sounds like Godzilla. Oh, so there he is chasing a cab, and he finally catches it, and he bites so hard that he can dig out an entire city's block worth of concrete in his mouth, along with the cab.
Yeah,
he then begins to chew, but cannot chew the cab.
It's so... I don't know. Like, I know they're supposed to build suspense, but, like, there's no way anything on the face of the planet takes a bite that slow. He's like, okay, I'm gonna get you. Oh.
I just want to savor it for a minute. It's like a piece of beef jerky.
Ah, mercury, sweetest of the transitional metals.
But that does give him just enough time to, take one of those power lines, which just conveniently happens to be hanging outside the taxi window, and Matthew Broderick's just like, I'm gonna get you in your gum with it.
This is when I realized this movie was pinned by a 10-year-old, because they drive out of Godzilla's mouth. Mind you, has fire breath, never uses it against them. They ramp the fucking taxi cab off his toenail and get away. What?
It's time to play Crazy Taxi. Are you ready?
Oh my god.
Crazy Taxi.
They fucking ramp off his nail. and then are still in control enough to, after being chewed, fucking all this shit, to drive onto the goddamn, was that the Golden Gate Bridge or
The Brooklyn Bridge.
Bridge.
This is New York, not San Francisco.
Listen, struggling, bud.
It's okay. It's okay. The grasp that the creators of this film had on geography isn't any better, I promise you.
So there they are driving across, and Godzilla, who is smart enough to outrun a fucking cruise missile, who is strong enough to burrow through solid ground, cannot tear the smallest cables out of this bridge.
Oh, these cables that got me, boss.
Yes, the tiny cables. They're cables and they're tiny.
Yes, this tiny net. How will I ever escape?
Goodness. Like, I half expected one of the fellas to turn around and be like, "Ha, they don't make them like they used to," or some garbage like that.
That's good American engineering.
Hey, that'll tell you to mess with New York.
Yes, there it is.
Please discuss how Godzilla cannot stay the same size.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, the scaling is really, really skewed.
1 minute he's like 30 feet tall. The next minute he's like 300 feet tall.
Hey, he's serving the scene. He's a fine actor. This is what they hired him for. It's okay.
It's okay. People don't know the difference. Really big is just really big.
Yeah.
Anything over 10 foot's fucking huge, bro.
Yeah.
Anything after that's just huge bitch. And that's it.
Huge bitch.
And this is like Godzilla's last hurrah in this movie, and it's so embarrassing.
Is
among
that a
other
hurrah?
things in this movie. I guess so, because like it gets tangled up in the bridge cables and all that stuff. They light the guy up, or girl, whatever you want to call it. They up, and it fucking dies.
Seemed like a good time to talk about it.
I mean, what better
Weirdness.
place than here? What better time than now?
We gotta talk about how this movie's trying to make us feel bad for this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a little bit of that too. But I just don't care. You're a big ass monster. You can probably
Just
die.
Carl from Aqua Teen. Yeah, I don't fucking care. None of this matters.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Okay. Well, I guess King Kong stole it from them since it was remade later. Holy shit. Godzilla's dying, and they let you hear his heartbeat, and you just sit there going, I feel bad for the lizard, but it keeps showing Matthew fucking Broderick, and he's just like, huh? Wow.
Like the
just
way
staring at it.
the way they framed him walking up to Godzilla, like in that brief moment, like looking at him as it passed away, I just half expected him just to be like, no, it was beauty that killed
Yes.
the beast.
Yes.
Jesus. The last things that we have, the way we wrap this up, they get back together. Blonde quits her job, and I don't know. I guess Matthew Broderick is just okay with this blonde girl getting him fired if it means that he gets a little bit of pussy.
I mean, that's just the way the world works, I think. You know?
Meanwhile, we have a little bit of sequel bait here at the end, as if
Uh.
this movie was really going to get a sequel. We have one unhatched egg just sitting in Madison Square Garden that just starts to crack open. It survived.
Huzzah. And let's not
And-
forget that we got to see Jean Reno as he walked against the wind.
Like the Hulk.
Yeah. Just like
Oh,
on a stomach.
goodness.
But you guys know what the real worst part of this whole movie was? The real worst part?
That Godzilla cover?
Yeah, the song that's playing in the credits, this fucking Puff Daddy
The Kashmir
reimagine
mashup?
of Kashmir. Yeah, it's terrible. Like, I
It's-
remember
it's
when this
real-
came out thinking, like, you know, it was okay. It was, like, ignorable. It was whatever. It is terrible.
Like, I think... Well, fuck that. I don't feel like talking about it. I agree.
That's
You better fucking leave that in. Ah,
don't wanna
fuck
get
it.
into
I don't want
it.
to talk about it. I agree.
Nonetheless, boy, this movie ain't so good, but like it's one of those movies where it's like barely entertaining and it has a lot of actually neat things in there. It never really drags its feet, to be honest. There's some annoying bits, but it keeps on trucking, and like you get like little bits of just like real dumbassery, but like for some reason like the movie just keeps going. And by the end of it, you're just like, yeah, all right. Yes, it sure was.
yeah, I kind of agree. Like, this wasn't the worst thing that I've seen recently. It's not good. I'm not going to give any indication that this is a good movie, but most of it was pretty entertaining to me. I get a lot of like Independence Day and Day After Tomorrow vibes. I think were both of those by Ronald, what's his name?
Roland Emmerich.
Roland Emmerich. Yeah, like it's the same movie, except this one's way worse than either one of those. Still, you get to see New York City get destroyed. I don't know. It's okay. It's not good.
It's like if iCarly met Jurassic Park.
What?
Oh, what?
Please show your work on that one.
It's got the fucking, the kid that wants the girl, and then you got the other buddy, which is, they're just flipping it, two guys and, a girl instead of two girls and a guy. But they're just running around having misadventures and talking to each other with some of the worst fucking dialogue that I've ever heard in any film. And then you get all the Jurassic Park, number one, the music, the fucking fake raptors, the aloofness that they're trying to grasp at those, we're going to need more fish, and all that shit. It's just a mix of the two. It's quite frankly, if it was a TV show, I think it could be brilliant. But as a movie, it's absolute garbage.
Well, there you have it. That was Godzilla, specifically from 1998. If you have any strong feelings about the movie or the show, leave it in the comment section below.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons too. Tap that little bell icon down there. Make sure you tap the bell so you know next time we got another one of these brewing up for you.
We got the Twitter, the Instagram, a Facebook, a Reddit. We got Apple Podcasts. We got Spotify. Of course, we got YouTube. You got to give us a shot, man. We're pretty funny sometimes.
But speaking of iCarly, Jeanette McCurdy, sponsor us. Or really just email me or something.